What is going on, everyone? Griffin here, coming at you with some Dallas gameplay. Today we're going to be talking about the 3 Wishes midseason DMR changes. So let's head over and let's check it out. So we are currently receiving our first pass of DMR changes specifically to the Mamba and the Devotion. So for the Mamba, the hipfire accuracy has been reduced, the hipfire movement accuracy penalty has been added, and the ADS movement speed has been reduced. Whereas on the other hand, with the Devotion, the headshot damage was reduced from 83 down to 80, the fire rate was reduced from 2.5 down to 2.22, the hipfire accuracy was reduced, the hipfire movement accuracy penalty has been added, and the ADS movement speed has been reduced. So out of all of the DMRs, I would say that the Mamba and the Devotion are pretty high on that list as like problem children DMRs. And it makes sense why these two DMRs were addressed to begin with. Now, I went in there and I asked the developers if this is kind of a trend that we're going to see with the rest of the DMR changes in the future. Are we going to be having hipfire accuracy reduction? Are we going to have movement speed reductions while ADSing? Are there going to be some type of movement accuracy penalty that's added into it? Like, what are we going to be looking at? Basically, what I was told was yes and no. Don't know what that means. Don't know what that means. I'm assuming that we're going to have a variation of these things kind of sprinkled across all of the DMRs, because currently DMRs are very powerful if you have the patience to use them and if you take the time to become proficient at using them. And they've always been that way in Rogue Company, in my opinion. And the reason why like we got them super buffed up was because the play rate on the DMRs were on the extreme low side. But the reality of the situation is DMRs and like marksman rifles and things like that are naturally going to be at the lower end of the play rate spectrum. You're always going to have assault rifles being like the top dog. Then you're going to have SMGs coming in a close second. You're going to have probably snipers at a third. I guess DMRs and shotguns are going to tie for last. I don't know where you would put those, but that's how I would rank everything, honestly. And you can't buff a weapon into making it viable when it's already viable. And I think that that's the problem that the previous lead designers for Rogue Company had an issue with, where it's like, oh, not enough people are playing with this specific weapon. We'll up the headshot damage, reduce the accuracy on it, make it as accurate and as damaging as possible, ship it out to them. Like, that's not how you balance stuff. Like, you're going to have people naturally come to those weapons and understand those weapons and be comfortable with those weapons. Like, because you have 5 to 8 DMRs in the game that you've developed and that you've incorporated into the game and nobody's using them, doesn't mean they're not good, doesn't mean they're not balanced, doesn't mean they're not viable. It just means that you are creating something that doesn't appeal to the mass, player base. Why do you think we have so many assault rifles and SMGs in the game? Why do you think we only have like 2 light machine guns? I know why we don't have more sniper rifles. That's a whole different story. Why do you think we only have 4 shotguns? Like, that's just the reality of the situation. Like, people are not going to gravitate towards these like single shot or burst shot weapons that do high damage, but there's a lot of risk that comes along with them. That's just how it is. And then people that are upset because the Mamba and the Devotion and other DMRs are like beating them whenever they are, pushing with SMGs, pushing with assault rifles. It's like, well, you have to understand that like naturally the headshot multiplier for these weapons should be higher. At least on paper, they should be higher. And the fire rate of them shouldn't be something that's super fast, but if you get 1 or 2 shots on them, they should definitely be able to tell that they are being shot. That's just how it should be with DMRs, like across all games in general. It makes sense why the Mamba got the hipfire accuracy reduction and the hipfire movement penalty, accuracy penalty added, and the ADS movement speed reduced. Like the Mamba, it's kind of surprising that they didn't adjust the headshot value, because if you are able to successfully land all 3 bursts as a headshot, then it does 75 damage, which is absolutely insane for a DMR. But it's kind of comparable to the Devotion, where you have the Devotion that went from 83 headshot damage down to 80. Fixer can no longer one tap, which is a great thing. And I don't really feel the fire rate for the Devotion, because like the thing with the Devotion was you time your shots out. It's not a projectile weapon, no. So you don't have to worry about you don't have to think about or worry with leading people to try to get that shot. It is hit scan. But that's how I always played the Devotion, so them reducing the fire rate doesn't really reduce the viableness of the weapon, in my opinion. Like, and I'm pretty sure that upgrade path to increase the fire rate for the weapon still exists with the weapon currently. So you're still getting the bonus out of that. So if you want it to fire faster, you just upgrade it and then you fire it faster. All in all, like, these are decent changes. Like, the Mamba and the Devotion are still viable, they're still deadly, and they're still really, really good in the hands of people that know how to actually use those weapons. They're not gonna be comparable to assault rifles and SMGs in terms of like usefulness, at least to most players, in terms of viability, and in terms of like pick rate. That's just whoever is making that association at high res needs to have their job reevaluated, because that's just not the reality of the world. Like, that's not the reality of the world in any game, unless you're playing a BR where like you drop in and you only have access to the Mamba and the Devotion. You're going to use those weapons because that's all you have. But in a world where you can pick whatever you want to pick, then are you going to go with DMRs? Most people aren't. But be sure to let me know what you think in the comments down below. Have you used the Mamba and the Devotion? And do you think that they are reliable? Do you feel like they are more reliable now than they were previously? What are your thoughts and opinions on them? Be sure to let me know what you think in the comments down below. Also, be sure to check that description for links to Facebook, Discord, and Twitter. Those are the places to contact me. If you haven't already, please be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. If you've already subscribed to the channel, then consider hitting that join button to become one of the 256 crew members. Lastly, on Thursdays from 8 until 11 p.m. Central Time, Sundays from 10 a.m. until we get tired, I will be streaming here on YouTube. So if you are interested and available, please feel free to stop by and say hello there. Thanks for watching, guys.
There's one right here.
Yeah, Lancer.
Oh,
it's Dima.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
I hit him for 64.
Dude, a bullet!
no.
Oh my god. Man. I didn't miss a single shot with that Devotion either. And I got a kill.
There's two in there. Dima's over here. Fuck!
I got her.
Dima's in here. He's coming.
Yeah. If he says, have you tried turning it off and on again? I'm going to be like, Father!
What have you?
Oh, yeah. For Shrizzle.
How am I missing this bitch? There we go.
Time.
Somebody's in the back. On B. Behind the back square.
There's a couple in here.
Hmm.
We can. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, okay. He just walked in the far.
This was gonna be hard.
Spank the monkey again.
Yeah. It did not spank us. Yeah. We overcame
We haven't
it.
entered
the
that world
Lancer?
yet.
It was the
It
Kestrel.
was the Kestrel.
Oh yeah.
Spanked. I think that Sniper got 7 of the 9 downs in that one round.
For me. Yeah, for me, basically.
Because like sniped, revive, snipe. It's like it was a
Yeah.
perfect distraction, though. You know, like